Greetings, I'm Count Jackula.
And I'm the Horror Guru.
And decided to have a little discussion on The Last Jedi. Now, this isn't so much a discussion on The Last Jedi, because I really liked Last Jedi. I really liked it.
Like, to me, it's like right now, Empire and Last Jedi are two of my favorite Star Wars movies.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, no doubt about it. I fucking loved it. I went fucking apeshit in that theater.
And you were worried going in too.
Oh my god, I thought it was just gonna suck on toast.
Yeah.
I was like, I hate Star Wars. I hate everything.
And I understand, because there's a lot of overload right now.
Oh my god, so much.
The fact that they're going to make a new Star Wars movie every year, the fact that every year we're going to have this huge fan buildup over the movie and inevitable backlash to the movie. It's just fucking exhausting.
Yeah, and it's that inevitable backlash that we actually kind of wanted to fucking talk about.
Well, yeah.
Because it's fucking retarded.
Because with the backlash that happened with Force Awakens and a lot of the problems that stemmed with Force Awakens, because Force Awakens like intentionally left a whole lot of strings untethered so that the next movie can answer them.
Yeah, because they weren't sure what direction was going to work.
And as a result of that, there's a huge... The problem with The Force Awakens is that unlike A New Hope, it doesn't feel complete.
Yeah, it's not contained.
So a lot of the criticisms about that movie, I felt like I agreed or I understood with, even though I loved the movie.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that with the sole exception of why is Rey handing a lightsaber to Luke Skywalker, this movie is super fucking contained.
Yeah, it's super goddamn contained.
You everything else that you know from the previous movie only enhances what happens here.
Yeah, and like all Star Wars
movies, with the exception of Rey.
Yeah. And like all Star Wars movies, it has an opening text crawl that brings you up to speed.
Yeah, totally.
But like a lot of the complaints and the criticisms I'm seeing towards The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, I don't agree with, and I actually don't even understand to a certain extent.
Yeah,
some of them I do. Some of them it's about expectation versus what the movie chose to do instead. But a lot of the criticisms, I'm like, I feel like the movie answered that question. Like what?
Yeah. There was no criticism from a lot of the like nerd critic circles has fucking been a criticism that has been legitimate.
Oh yeah, and let me just say right off the bat, we cannot talk about the criticisms without spoiling this movie.
Yeah.
So this video is pretty much going to be all spoilers.
Yeah, this is all spoiler. So if you haven't seen it, but you just want to know what we think, I fucking loved it.
Yeah, me too.
I thought it was great. You should watch it. It's great. I fucking loved it.
Yeah, me too.
I was so fucking happy with it.
Grinning from ear to ear after the movie.
Oh, man.
Fucking cheering with the audience when the fucking credits happened. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay, so if you just wanted that, go see it. Definitely. It's one of those... I still think Blade Runner 2046 is a little better. But, like, this is definitely one of those sequels that's better than it has any right to be.
Yeah.
You know? All right, with that done, God, let's get into some of the fucking bullshit. Okay.
Like, what are some of the most common criticisms we've heard? There's a lot of talk about plot holes in the movie. One that I remember hearing addressed a lot was the idea that how if they destroyed the Star Killer base in The Force Awakens, how has the First Order pretty much taken over the galaxy, or at least in the process of taking over the galaxy in this movie? Seems like a bit of a leap. And my problem with that criticism is it feels like everyone forgot at the end of Force Awakens that the Starkiller base, before they destroyed it, flat out wiped out the Republic's capital and all its leadership and all the surrounding like planets and bases.
It didn't just destroy the whole planet, it destroyed that whole solar system.
Yeah.
That's the power of the Starkiller base.
So to me, it's like, it's not a giant leap, because imagine if in America, our Senate, our House, and our President all were killed at once, like in a giant nuclear explosion. And all we had left was our generals.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to believe that the rest of the country would fall into complete and utter disarray while our generals are fighting the enemy that fucking caused that.
Yeah. About the only thing that I could agree with as far as, hey, wait a minute, is the fact that Force Awakens doesn't end with it feeling like the rebellion is in crisis mode.
I will agree with that. It doesn't end with that feeling.
Yeah.
But that did happen.
It did happen. You know, like if you go back, you're like, It is really weird because when you think about it, you're like, why is the First Order so powerful? Oh, they did just fucking destroy that solar system.
Yeah. If you actually destroy the entire solar system that houses all the leaders of the Republic, of course there's going to be disarray.
Yeah, all the leadership of most of the leadership of the New Order is still fucking intact. The First Order.
I would imagine what would happen initially there is that everyone would faction off into their own little things, which would make it way easier for an outside force to take over individually as it went on. You know, now if you want to say it happens a little fast because it feels like this movie takes place pretty soon after.
Yeah, this takes place like a couple of days after.
I agree, and that is one criticism I will admit that like people complaining about the timeline feeling a little wonky because there is the main plot which with Rey and Luke that seems like it's taking place over a couple days, and then there's the other plot where it feels like it's taking place in like a day.
Yeah, a few hours.
Which you could argue that maybe the Rey thing is going back in time, like it's not continuity. It's like a Tarantino movie. It's not all linear.
Yeah.
But the movie never makes that clear, so I at least understand that. I understand that criticism because that is a little wonky.
Yeah, and that's like the one criticism that has some grounding because even though it's technically not wrong, I can see how you would have thought it would. It doesn't feel right. The transition between the two movies is a little weird.
Sure.
But once you get past that introduction, no criticism I have heard makes any goddamn sense.
No.
Like, not even a little. And even those things that I was like, well, maybe. Like, one criticism that I heard people fucking bitching about was about the map from Force Awakens.
Yeah. There seems to be a lot of people who believed that the map in Force Awakens was left by Luke himself to be found by presumably Leia or like people he cared about. But the movie never said that Luke left the map.
Yeah, no,
I don't
never
remember
did.
that
never
ever
did.
coming up. I remember that they get the map from Exorcist dude.
Max von Sydow.
Max von Sydow. They get the map from Max von Sydow. They don't really specify where he got the map, but there's a lot of assumptions you can make.
They intimate that he was working with Luke to find the planet that he ended up on.
Yeah.
And that's why he has part of it.
Yeah. And so then the next scene where it really comes up is when they're talking with Han Solo, and Han Solo talks about how the people close to Luke believe that he went to go try to find the Jedi Temple, and that's at that point you assume that the map is to the Jedi Temple, which presumably would have Luke.
Yeah.
See that
because he was looking for it.
You know, and then when they find, because it has everything except for this one little chunk of the map, and a lot of people are like, well, if there's only that chunk of the map, well, then how could they just not go to that part? And I'm like, well, it's space.
Yeah, it's space. It's
a small little chunk of the map is going to be light years.
Yeah. Like, it's one of those, like, they have enough of the map to know what galaxy it's in, what part of the galaxy, what sector, but they don't know which planet, and they definitely do not know where on that planet.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Because that's the thing, because fucking Jedi just going to use the Force to walk around. He doesn't need all the navigational equipment. You're not going to need a GPS. Yeah. He didn't need a GPS to find fucking Yoda. You know? He's not going to have it.
And that interpretation, the interpretation that Max von Sydow's character and Luke worked together to try to find the temple, and that's why R2-D2 has the other piece of the map.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily there so he can be found. In fact, there's a reason why the two pieces of the map were separated, probably.
Yeah.
That's backed up by, I forget his name. It's like Pablo something or other, who is one of the Star Wars
continuity guy.
Yeah, it's one of the Star Wars lore people officially for Lucasfilm. So that's backed up as...
Yeah. So basically, why does R2-D2 have a part of the map if Luke didn't want to be found? Real simple, R2-D2 just didn't erase it.
Yeah,
because he's done that. He's done weird shit like that.
It's specifically a map to the Jedi Temple, not necessarily to Luke himself, but because Luke went to the Jedi Temple, it's how you find him.
Yeah.
If you want to find him.
Yeah, and it's like, well, why couldn't have Luke have just erased it? It's like, yeah, he totally could have, but you also can believe that R2-D2 just...
Here's what I don't understand. A lot of people who make the argument of like, well, why would he leave this map behind if he didn't want to be found? I'm like, well, fair enough, but why would he separate the map if he wanted it to be used?
Yeah.
Why would he separate it into multiple pieces if he wanted it to be used? Clearly, he separated it for a reason.
Yeah.
Even if you do go with the logic that he made the map, you know,
exactly.
You
know, we could also assume that part of the reason R2-D2 is in low power mode is because he's trying to reassemble it from the erased bits. You can come up with a million.
That's a lot of assumptions, and it's hard to answer complaints with assumptions. But
yeah. But it was like it's an assumption that you can come up with a million theories as to why.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that hard.
So when Rey meets Luke and he doesn't want anything to do with her, he came there to die. That didn't seem like a continuity problem to me.
No, not at all.
Because I never really interpreted it as Luke leaving the map behind, but apparently a lot of people did.
Yeah.
So I don't fucking know. Maybe there is an extra book out there that intimated that, but I really don't give a shit about the Star Wars extra book shit.
Oh yeah. Well, I learned my lesson about Star Wars extra book shit with Splinter in the Mind's Eye.
Yeah, I just don't care about the expanded universe. If it's in the movies, it's in the movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so that didn't feel like a continuity error to me at all. And there's a lot of people who hate, and I think even Mark Hamill discussed his frustration with the way Luke is portrayed in this movie, but I actually really liked it.
Yeah, me too.
Because to me, it's the classic martial arts story. You know, you have the young student who goes to meet the old master, but the old master doesn't want to take on a new student, doesn't even want to continue with the martial arts or the thing that they're into because they failed.
Yeah. They end up training the ultimate villain who's trying to destroy everything, and then in shame they fucking retreat to the temple and don't fucking talk to anybody.
Like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, Yoda.
Yeah.
But more so Obi-Wan Kenobi. You could tell there's echoes of Obi-Wan Kenobi in this current Luke.
Yeah.
Or this current.
Although that the part of the Yoda thing, that's another fucking complaint that I heard people give that I was like, you gotta be fucking
people who don't like the jokey Yoda, even though that's the way he was in Empire Strikes Back.
It's completely the way
people forget that the Yoda in the prequels is not the Yoda in Empire Strikes Back.
No,
the Yoda in the prequels is quiet and silent and just spouting like serious bouts of wisdom. But Yoda in Empire Strikes Back, he's like Lao Tzu. He's he's the jokey wise man who has kind of realized that life is inherently ridiculous.
Mine, or I would help you not.
And he has found inner peace and balance.
Yeah. And he laughs at everything.
Yeah.
Everything is funny to him.
Yeah, it's very Chinese.
Yeah, it's super Chinese.
And I love that.
Like the thing is that Luke's transformation in this movie kind of mirrors Yoda.
Yeah.
Because Yoda didn't want to train Luke either.
No.
Like it's not as big of an emotional thing for Yoda, but he still didn't want to do it. It's the whole point. He's like, I can't teach him, Ben. Kenobi, I cannot teach him. Like, no, I'm ready. Oh, ready are you? Oh, always you were looking to the horizon.
Yeah.
Adventure, excitement. Jedi crave not these things. Like, was I any different when you taught me? He's too old. Yes, too old to begin the training.
I love Yoda. So to me, this is the first time Yoda felt like Yoda again.
Yes, absolutely.
Like in the prequels, he always felt off to me. It didn't feel quite like Yoda. And I could always just brush it off as like, okay, well, this is younger Yoda. Younger Yoda is different than older Yoda.
Yeah, Yoda's totally the kind of guy who'd just be like, Luke, what's up, man? I'm fucking coming out of the Force to talk to you.
Yeah.
You're doing your ridiculous shit. I've come back to remind you about what's goddamn important. Which this girl
actually leads us into one of the other complaints of the movie. A lot of people complain about the new Force powers presumably presented in this movie. And
oh my God.
Here's the thing I want to talk about with that. I feel like people forget because they're so used to seeing Star Wars as originally as 3 movies and then later as 6 movies, that they forget that each movie was released individually.
Yeah.
And that before, what do you learn in A New Hope that Jedi can do? Well, they can Jedi mind trick and they can choke.
Yeah,
and they use lightsabers.
Yeah, what are the big Force powers of the first movie? You could trick somebody, you can choke someone with your mind, and if you do a little hand motion, it allows you to blow up the Death Star.
And if you can presumably fly a spaceship without using navigation because you just feel it out. Okay, so these are what you learn in A New Hope. In Empire Strikes Back, you learn you can do even more with it. You can pull things towards you.
Yeah, that's where telekinesis happens in Empire.
You can pull the lightsaber. You can do this stuff, and then by the time you get to Return of the Jedi, you find out that you can summon lightning with your fingertips if you get to this certain level.
Yeah, if you're evil enough, you can do this.
In Empire, you learn that when you get strong enough, you can also lift an X-wing from the swamps. You know, like there's all these new power. Each movie in the original trilogy introduced new powers, new abilities, and new levels.
Yeah.
So the prequels were kind of operating under like the logic of the original trilogy. They didn't really add much except to like the universe and like the old lore.
Yeah.
But these new movies are now expanding the Force powers, and I don't see why that's a problem because the original trilogy did that all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we didn't know until Return of the Jedi that you can summon lightning. So why is it so weird if you can summon lightning with your fingertips that Yoda from Beyond the Grave, who is one of the master of masters, why is it weird that he could summon lightning from the sky?
Yeah.
Why is that weird?
Yeah. I fucking love that. Like, Luke, I'm going to destroy it all.
Yeah.
I'm going to destroy it all. And he can't bring himself to do it. And Yoda's like, and he like lightning strikes it.
Princess Leia, who the franchise has established is Force sensitive, and even I believe is it Return of the Jedi where she's referred to as being really strong in the Force too?
Well, it's referred to that she has the gift.
She has the gift. Okay.
Yeah.
And now it's been like how many years since?
Yeah, it's been like 20, 30 years.
Yeah. And so she's had all that time. She has no formal Jedi training.
Yeah, she's not a Jedi, but she has a connection to the Force.
So it's not that weird to me that over years she got strong enough to where if she was blown out of a spaceship, she could pull herself back in.
Yeah.
Like why? Okay, if you can pull things towards you, why can't you pull yourself towards something in a vacuum?
Yeah, it's also one of those things where like people forget that part of Luke surviving the fucking freezing weathers of Hoth isn't just because he's in the dead Tauntaun.
Yeah.
It's actually like a power. It's actually like a Force power.
Yeah.
Because they're actually like, it's amazing he fucking didn't freeze to death out there. Like, what did it?
Here's the other thing for me. If you're going to introduce new powers to the Force, I prefer it if you do it the way this movie's doing it, where the Masters are the one introducing the new powers.
Yeah.
Not the young Padawans, but the Masters are the ones doing it.
Yeah.
Because they've reached a level beyond.
Yeah. It was totally conceivable that Leia could have reached that degree of Force mastery in 30 years.
Even with Snoke, they introduced that, hey, you can not just use lightning from your fingertips, but you can fucking stomp it. Like, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was pretty fucking cool. You know, so to me, the Masters all having these new abilities, like, to me, that's not weird because that's what the original trilogy did.
Yeah. All the time.
You know?
Yeah, all the time. And
Obi-Wan could...
It was only the prequels that didn't do that.
No, the prequels didn't, and I thought we all didn't like the prequels, so I don't know why.
Yeah. So I'm totally willing to like write that shit
But even so, like, there's not much in this movie that rewrites the continuity of the prequels. Actually, this movie
it even brings it in.
This movie acknowledges the prequels, which is another thing that people really didn't like about the movie, is that within the movie, they have Luke acknowledge that the Jedi had way too much hubris.
Yeah.
And that under their rule, under their protection, Darth Sidious rose and took over the Empire, and Darth Vader
wiped out the Jedi.
Yeah. And this is all under the Jedi, and that they were too full of themselves to see the error of their ways.
Yeah.
Like, Qui-Gon was too full of himself, you know, things like that.
And he's right. They were.
And he is right. That is acknowledging the prequels. Like, that is 100% bringing the prequels into continuity and saying, like, hey, the Jedi, these saviors, they're a religion as fallible as any other, and sometimes you have to make.
And I like the fact that he specifically referred to the Jedi Order as a religion.
I love that because I was never really a big fan of like midichlorians and stuff like that. I like treating it like it's a mystical force again.
Yeah. But that the Force is independent.
That's why it's called the Force.
Yeah, the Force is independent of the Jedi and Sith orders.
Yeah,
it's a thing that is there that people made a fucking system around.
Yep.
But that system itself is not the truth.
And I love the idea that the Force is in some way in all of us, that is not owned by the Jedi or the Sith.
Yeah.
I love that. I thought that was beautiful.
It's not a power you use, it's a connection you have.
Which is also a very martial arts thing.
Yeah.
In martial arts stories, there is that whole thing. Like, this isn't just a thing for us and the Masters. This is something for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, enlightenment is okay for everyone.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, and so I don't know. I don't understand what the problem is. And like, I feel like we're all over the place here, but I'm like trying to address all the complaints I've heard.
The complaints are all over the place.
Like a lot of people don't like that the reveal of Rey's parents is that her parents are nobodies, that she was abandoned on a planet by a bunch of drunk raiders or scavengers or whatever you want to call them. And she was sold off for beer money.
Yep.
And
I thought that was great.
Well,
I thought
here's my problem.
fantastic.
People are interpreting that as dropping the plot point, that it drops the plot point from the previous movies. I'm like, no, that's concluding the plot point.
Yeah.
That is giving you an answer to a question you were asking in the previous movie, concluding that thing, and here's why I like it. A lot of people want Rey to come from some sort of lineage. They want her to be a Skywalker. They want her to be a Kenobi. Like, there's even some people saying that she's like a reincarnation of Anakin.
Yeah.
And it's just like...
Actually, there was a moment in that movie where I thought the twist was going to be that she was related to Anakin.
Or something like that.
Or something like that. But I'm like, the minute they do that whole thing, it was like, search your feelings. You know who your parents really were. And she's like, nobody. Yeah. They were nobody. And it's like, oh shit. No, that's even better.
Why I love that. And this is where I feel like a lot of people are missing when they watch this movie, is that they miss all the themes and how great this movie is on bringing its theme all the way throughout its storyline and bringing it back and like reinforcing it. Rey came from nothing. She had none of the opportunities. She was abandoned on a planet. She had to learn to fend for herself and protect herself. And that's how she learned how to use a staff and do all these things. And she didn't have the happy family. She didn't have the opportunities. Kylo had everything. He had a loving family. He had a lineage that gave him all this power. He had the
legendary master
teacher. The legendary master teacher. And he still went down this dark path. He still has all this anger and resentment towards the world and wants to destroy everything and has no empathy whatsoever. Well, he has empathy, but he's crushed it. He's still gone down this dark path. Whereas Rey, his polar opposite, the person without any of those opportunities, the person who came from nothing, she still sees fit, despite the way the world has shit on her and despite the way the world has given her this shitty luck of the draw.
Yeah.
She still wants to protect it. She still wants to save it. She's still found beauty in the world, or the universe, as it were. That's why I like that reveal, because that reveal creates this perfect dichotomy between Kylo and Rey. They are polar opposites. Just like Snoke says, I knew that when your power rose, your opposite and equal would come in the form of the light. He thought it was going to be Luke Skywalker, but it turns out it's Rey. And so she is not only his opposite in terms of light powers and force powers, she's also literally his opposite in background and history and personality.
Yeah. They're polar opposites.
He is filled with anger and rage and is super emotionally compromised.
Yeah, over nothing.
Yeah. Whereas she is extremely forgiving. She is extremely loving, and she is compassionate. Like they're polar opposites in every way. So when people say that this abandons the plot point, I don't understand. This feels like the ultimate conclusion of the plot point, as well as the best reveal they probably could have give. Because any other reveal would have just been like, okay, of course she's a Skywalker, or of course she's a Kenobi, or of course she's this, or of course she's that. This reveal was not only surprising and shocking, it also made the perfect thematic sense for the movie.
Well, yeah.
Because this movie's all about the balance of the Force. Yeah. And it's all about failure. And it's all about these things, you know?
Yeah, and the other thing is that she, I think I mentioned this already, but like, she learns that her parents are nothing the way Luke Skywalker learns that Darth Vader is his father. Yeah. Like, search your feelings. You know it to be true.
Yeah. And what was great about that was that reveal that, like, this enemy, this thing you've wanted to destroy, this thing that you hate, it's also the thing that you love, this person you look up to, this hero of your past, this hero that you never knew, this father you look up to, this father you're trying to be. He's the bad guy.
Yeah.
You know, it has the same kind of emotional resonance, but on a different point of view.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Kylo very obviously wants to outdo his ancestors.
Yeah.
But it's taken him down this awful path.
Well, there's a lot of weird complaints. Like, I've heard people complaining that, for example, Kylo smashing his helmet is also abandoning what was set up in the previous movie, and I'm like, no,
that's a continuation.
No, you set up Kylo. He is in the original movie. He's obsessed with Darth Vader. He wants to be Darth Vader. He wants to be more evil and more dominating than his grandfather.
He wants to bring order to the galaxy.
You know? And then he ends up meeting this little nobody, this someone who the fuck is she, with no official training, but it did train herself to learn a staff, so her ability to actually use hand-to-hand combat makes sense.
Her ability to fight is really good.
And because he's wounded, ends up losing to her. And you enter this movie, and you have Snoke telling him that he is no Vader, he is no whatever, and that's when he realizes he's in the shadow of his grandfather.
Yeah, he's in the shadow of his grandfather, and he has to get out.
And he makes the choice in that moment, and it's great because it's all done silently. They never explain it to you, but it's all done visually to stop living in his grandfather's shadow. He's going to be better than his grandfather. He smashes the helmet that he was wearing because his grandfather wore a helmet and realized...
Well, I wouldn't know how silent that was, but I know what you mean. Yeah. Without dialogue.
Yeah, without dialogue. Yeah. Like, he is going to go down his own path. He's no longer living down the path of his grandfather.
Now he's not going to live up to the legacy of Darth Vader. He is going to live up to the legacy of the Emperor. And I'm like, that happens when you start realizing, oh shit, he's trying to be the Emperor.
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
which makes that, oh god, that twist, that twist at the end with what he ends up doing is so beautiful.
Oh my god.
You know? I didn't realize so many people cared so much about Snoke. A lot of people are mad that he was killed in this movie because they thought like it was going to be like the original trilogy.
He fucking kills Snoke, and I'm like, oh shit, is he going to go down now? Oh fuck, I don't know what this third movie is going to be about.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of love that because that was different. That was unique.
Oh my god, yeah.
And plus, I love it because you're watching like Kylo is like Anakin done well. You're watching him choose to go down this evil path.
Yeah,
and.
That's what Anakin Skywalker should have been.
And you're watching Rey make the opposite choice. So you're watching these two opposing forces go down these two paths, and they're eventually going to finally collide in the next movie, more than likely.
Yeah, more than likely.
We'll see. We'll see what the next movie does. It might be full of surprises, too.
Another thing that people complained about that I'm finding myself going, what?
Yeah.
The gambling planet.
Oh, okay. Okay. So there's a lot of people who feel like Finn and Rose's plot line in which they are trying to get a code breaker so that they can break through the New Order's what's it called? The capital ship?
Yeah, they got like a Super Star Destroyer.
Yeah, the Super Star Destroyer or whatever it's called, and they want to break through its defenses and shields so they can sneak on board and destroy their tracking device because they're tracking the main resistance fleet.
And they're like, if we have a code breaker, then a small ship can get in, but only if we can crack the code, so we need a dude.
Okay, so this is going to need a whole lot of backstory, because basically, at the beginning of the movie, Poe Dameron launches an assault in order to help people escape from one of the resistance bases that they're going to blow up. And he ends up disobeying Leia Organa's orders after they successfully get everyone off of the ship. And he continues the assault despite her saying that we need to get out of here now.
Yeah.
And as a result, a whole bunch more casualties happened, even though they do end up destroying like the giant Star Destroyer ship that they're using at the time. And this leads into the lesson, because this whole movie is about masters and apprentices. You have Snoke, you have Kylo, you have Rey, you have Luke, and you have Leia and Poe.
Yeah.
And to a certain extent,
Finn and Rose?
Not Finn and Rose, Finn and the Codebreaker.
Oh, yeah.
And to a certain extent, but lesser so than the rest of the other ones.
Yeah.
And so Poe needs to learn to stop being impulsive. She sees leadership potential in him, but his impulsive decisions are going to cost more lives than necessary.
Yeah. Because the interesting thing about Poe is what people didn't realize is that Poe is this trilogy's Han Solo.
Yeah, basically.
It's not Ben Solo, it's Poe.
Yeah.
You know, and it's why I really like, and a lot of people hated it, and I'm like, why? I love that bit.
Yeah.
The bit in the beginning where it's like, I have an urgent message for General Hux. Is he there?
Yeah, I love it. that whole bit's hilarious.
So I'm sitting there and I'm loving it. And people are like, that's way too jokey. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's totally something Han Solo would have done.
That pissed me off when people say the movie's way too jokey. I wonder what movie they watched when they watched The Force Awakens.
Yeah. Everything's fine. It's okay. Just had, a little error on the computer. How are you?
Yeah. I wonder when people watch the original trilogy and when people watch The Force Awakens, did they miss all the humor?
I don't know.
Like, the fucking Force Awakens has, like, fucking BB-8 thumbs up the fucking screen.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there. The point is, Leia gets injured in an assault. The Resistance fleet is being tracked through hyperspace by this giant ship, and they are essentially on a course to either run out of fuel or get blown out of the sky. And the person who takes over is not very forthcoming to Poe about what their plan is to escape, so he forms his own plan in order to save them, which involves getting Finn and Rose, a new character who's one of the mechanic, I believe she is. Is she a mechanic?
Oh,
they say what she is, but I forget off the top of my head.
She's an engineer.
Engineer.
Yeah.
And he sends her and Finn off to find a code breaker so they can break through.
Star Wars' first Asian character too.
Yeah.
Like identifiably.
Well, there were the traitors in Force Awakens, but like actual characters.
Yeah, actual character.
Yeah.
You know, like
And so he sends Finn and Rose out to find the code breaker, and ultimately they find a code breaker. They get back, they break through the barrier, but then it all turns out to be a double cross by the code breaker, and they fail. And it turns out that Poe was acting impulsively again, and the leader of the ship, the leader who had taken over after Leia, had a plan that was going to get them to escape. Yeah. So this leads to two big complaints. The first one is they feel like because that plan fails, that the Finn and Rose plot is pointless, which I disagree with.
I absolutely disagree.
Here's why. The Finn and Rose plot, number one, is full of character development for Finn. Continuing some of the stuff he was learning from Force Awakens.
Yeah, it's where you learn the majority of who Rose is. And what she's like.
And you learn about who Rose is, one of the new characters who's introduced in the thing. And this whole movie is predicated. This whole movie, they keep reiterating this idea that the Resistance is the spark that's going to start the fire, that's going to start the rebellion against the New Order. And this entire plot is them going to this rich casino planet in which there is a bunch of slaves and there's a bunch of animal torture and there's all this stuff. They end up freeing the animals and encouraging a bunch of young slaves. And at the end of the movie, those slaves are seen as being the fire that is being burned. As
because it turns out, because they're telling the story of Star Wars.
Yeah. So that end shot, I feel like no one paid attention to, because I'm sitting there going like, well, that's what they mean by the spark that lights the fire. That's why Finn and Rose going to that planet, even though they failed in their mission, is important.
It's very important. Yeah.
It actually accomplishes something. Plus, you have the whole character development of Finn learning that the light side and the dark side aren't as black and white as he thinks, because he learns through this code breaker that the arms dealers that he hates, these people that are enslaving these things, they're also selling their weapons to the Resistance.
Yeah. I mean, how fucking blatant could it have been? The little boy at the end has a fucking ring with a Rebel Alliance on it.
And so you have Finn, who is learning about the gray, while the other characters are learning about the light and the dark. And so, I don't know. I thought I don't understand when people say it was pointless.
It's absolutely important, because, like, if you forget about the ground level, a rebellion is worthless.
Absolutely.
It's worthless. They have to be there. It's like, oh, they failed. Yeah. They failed. They utterly failed to fucking, to have their plan go through. But that's part of the movie.
Was Luke Skywalker going back and fighting Darth Vader in Empire Strikes Back pointless? Because he loses, he fails.
Totally lost.
I don't. Just
fucking
because
Darth Vader schooled his ass.
This entire movie is one of the major themes of the movie is uttered by Yoda about how failure is the greatest teacher. Did you not pick up on the fact that every character in this movie fails on some level, with probably the only character who actually succeeds in their goals being the guy who lives entirely in the gray, the codebreaker who betrays them?
Yeah.
He's the only one who succeeds at what he's trying to do. Everyone else fails at their thing and has to learn and overcome from that failure at some point in the movie.
Yeah.
Rey fails to turn Kylo to the
light. Yeah.
To light. Kylo fails to kill his mom and fails to
he fails to get out of the shadow of Han Solo.
His father.
Yeah.
His father. So what he ends up ultimately doing is killing his other father.
Which is Snoke.
And then ends up failing again when he fights his third father in Luke.
Yeah.
He's spending this entire trilogy trying
to kill all father figures that he's ever had.
And he smashed his grandfather at the beginning. Like, if you think about it, Kylo spends his entire movie trying to fucking break the chains of his fathers. But that's...
but he can't do it because he refuses to learn a lesson.
Luke is all about dealing with his past failure that happened earlier.
Which is Kylo.
Yeah, and his current reoccurring failure with Rey, and having Yoda have to be like, "Hey, dude, fuck.
Knock it off." Yeah. Well, because he's about to make a huge fucking error.
Yoda coming to Luke is like Ben coming to Yoda.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it was. It was. Because like Luke is just so disillusioned. He just can't do it, and then Yoda has to come back and say, "What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Hey, what you doing? Young Skywalker." Mm-hmm. Oh God. When fucking Yoda comes back, those first lines, "There you are, always looking to the horizon." Yeah. I'm like, oh yes. So such a beautiful callback to Empire.
Poe and Finn and Rose fail, but so does Leia and and her the person who takes over after
Laura Dern. Yeah,
both of them fail because of Poe.
Yeah,
that's the other thing. A lot of people are wondering is how does the code breaker, how does he know the information about the ships escaping to give to the Empire so they start turning their guns on the ships escaping? How does he know that information? How does he know that information to turn on them? I'm like, well, because he was listening to their comms exchange the entire time. So that includes the comm exchange where he's just like, she's going to do this. She's a traitor or whatever. I need you to stop. I need you to fucking open that door now. So he was listening to that whole exchange. How is that a plot hole?
Yeah. Like that's why after they stopped talking, they panned to Benicio del Toro and he's like, nah.
Yeah.
Like he heard everything.
Yeah. Now, if you want to say there's some suspension of disbelief in this movie, that's fine. There is some suspension of disbelief in this movie, but I feel like that's true for all Star Wars.
Well, I feel that's true for all movies.
Yeah.
Like there's just a point where it's like, I didn't need them to waste time explaining that in excruciating detail. I got it.
I also love that. There's another thing. It's like I also like if you're gonna have like a lot of people calling like Luke coming in at the end and him turning out to be like essentially an astral projection of Luke.
Yeah.
As opposed to Luke actually being there as some sort of Deus Ex Machina. And I disagree.
No, the whole movie set that up.
The whole movie set up the fact that you can do that with the Force when you had Snoke manipulating Rey and Kylo into seeing each other even though they weren't there. And they establish even through the dialogue that, can you see my surroundings? Because I can just see you. So Luke's showing up like that. And they even have Rey try to shoot Kylo when he shows up for her. And it doesn't hurt him.
It doesn't happen, yeah.
So that entire exchange between Kylo and Thing sets up Luke being able to project himself later on in the movie. Especially since he's the master.
Yeah. Snoke being able to facilitate that
now,
connection.
Now, if you want to argue how is Leia or Kylo able to hold Han's dice if that's also a projection and Luke dies? I don't know. That might be something that might be a hole or something that requires suspension of disbelief. But it honestly doesn't bother me because that thing's not really a plot point so much as an emotional anchor. It's a symbol.
Yeah. It's a symbol. Well, like, okay, so maybe it just takes a while for the thing to dissipate. The point is Kylo picks up the dice and it blows away.
Also, to the people out there who don't know of the dice but claim to be hardcore Star Wars fans, are you not aware of the dice in the Millennium Falcon cockpit that's been there since A New Hope?
Yeah. They've been there since the
Now, granted, it's a background decoration.
You don't need to know that, but
you don't need to know that. But the fact that they used that as a symbol for Han in this movie didn't seem out of place to me because I remember the dice.
Well, yeah, because like it was a callback in Star Wars. It was a callback to Harrison Ford's character in fucking American Graffiti.
Now, I know that the expanded universe, which I don't give a shit about, gave a whole lot of like little explanations to the dice and yada yada. To me, I'm going to leave that to the Han Solo movie if they want to go into the dice. That's fine. Yeah. But the fact that it's there since A New Hope, like...
yeah. Like I said, why is there dice there? It's like because Harrison Ford... His car had fuzzy dice in American Graffiti.
God, what other complaints have I heard? I feel like
there's he's a smuggler dice, fuzzy dice, because it's like a fucking broken fucking. That's what I love about the Millennium Falcon. It is a broken down piece of shit.
Yeah,
but it works. It's magical. It's the fucking Herbie of fucking Star Wars.
I'm trying to think of what other complaints I can think of because there was a million. And I just don't understand any of them because I feel like the movie explains itself well. I think it's really well told. I think it's very well scripted. Told. And I think that everything thematically makes perfect sense.
The thing that I love is like, I'm looking at this third movie. I'm a little bit worried. Now, this is not really part of the a criticism. This is just a worry. I am a little worried that because the person who's going to be doing the third one is J.J. Abrams, that's going to be a mistake. But
we'll see. Yeah.
We'll see. I would have been way more comfortable if it had been the director of Last Jedi doing the third one.
Oh, me too.
Then I would have been
Me too.
all right, so I know the story's going to be finished. It's not going to have these weird loose ends.
That's the other thing I like about this movie is that it wasn't like predicated on a bunch of mysteries like Force Awakens was.
Yeah.
And it had a nice conclusion. And now instead of sitting there trying to figure out, oh, what's this, what's that, I'm instead going, what's going to happen next?
Yeah, exactly. Because
and that's what I'm excited about because I really. The mystery box thing that J.J. Abrams does, I don't mind if you do it within a movie and then at the end of the movie you open the box. But it really annoys me if you're just going to like make a series of movies and let the next movie figure out.
Well, that will ruin this new trilogy.
Oh God. If the third one ends that way, that'd be so pissed.
I will be so angry. At that point, Star Wars is dead to me.
Like God, what else? Know? What else are the common complaints? I'm sure that there'll be a million in the comments section because it's such a divisive movie online for some reason. But.
Yeah, it was very strange because I was like, what? Like, people were upset because of the fucking boob milk thing.
The boob milk thing. Well, here's the thing that annoys me about that. I'm like, I thought we all acknowledged him as a farm boy. Now, granted, the things he dealt with on that farm weren't necessarily animals, but like, I thought that was a cool callback to the fact he was a farm boy.
Yeah. He knows how to take care of himself.
I don't know. Did it gross you out? Like, why?
I thought it was supposed to.
It's like, oh, how dare he, like, undignify Luke Skywalker by having him drink milk.
That's the fucking equivalent of the fucking food that Yoda gives Luke in fucking Empire. You're like, ugh, what the fuck?
I don't know. I didn't understand people's complaints about that. Okay, the other thing. All right, here's another thing. People talking about Laura Dern and why does she not reveal to Poe Dameron the information about their escape plan. Why doesn't she tell him? Well, the movie I thought explained that very well, but I'll try to explain it to you now because a whole lot of people didn't seem to get this. Because he is rash and impulsive. And because he is rash and impulsive, they couldn't trust him with the need to know information. The same reason why he doesn't give her information about his escape plan.
Yeah, because he thinks that she can't be trusted. Yeah. And more than that, they know that the new First Order is somehow tracking them.
And more to that point, the movie even proves that point because Poe learning about the escape plan is how the code breaker learns about the escape plan and then gives the information to the Empire. So the more people they let into that loop, the more danger of that information getting to the Empire.
Yeah, or to the First Order.
To the First Order, the First Order.
Well,
sorry.
I mean, granted, it is basically the Galactic Empire Take Two, but
I don't understand if any of these plot holes bug people. Why people weren't screaming enough about the fact that apparently they're the Resistance in the first movie, even though they're the.
Oh my God! Yeah,
like that to me felt like that to me. The fact that they're the Resistance and the Republic is the established government, so that makes them just the army. Yeah. That annoyed me more than any other continuity thing in any of these movies.
Because I felt that was something that could have been fixed even in the title crawl, which is basically the First Order has conquered this sector of the galaxy. There is a resistance brewing. Yeah. The Alliance has sent people to aid the resistance. Okay, so the resistance are the people specifically within the First Order territory who are like, fuck space Nazis. Okay, got it, done. I mean, that's not how they explained it, which is a problem, but that was Force Awakens' fault.
Yeah.
That wasn't The Last Jedi's fault.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what people's problem is with this movie. I hear their problems, and to me, it seems like they saw a different movie than me. Or they weren't paying attention.
I really did feel like they just weren't seeing the same movie. Like they were, people were they're like offended. Well, what's the name of they're offended by the fucking casino planet.
Yeah.
You know, I can't even remember the goddamn name
I
of the
love
place.
that planet.
Oh, no, I thought it was great.
We've never seen a planet full of rich fucks.
Yeah,
and we finally got to see a planet full of rich fucks because we're usually on planets of like poor people and like scavengers and things like that.
Yeah. Or big cosmopolitan city planets. And shit
so going to a planet just full of like the intergalactic version of the 1%.
Yeah,
and like the people that they've enslaved and stuff like that. I thought that was really good because it was a nice reminder of what they were fighting for.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I love it because like Finn learns a little bit about the Grey.
Yeah, you want good and bad. I'm sorry, kid. There ain't no good and bad.
But like the other thing that there's a lot of people who say this movie's like anti-heroism, and I've never I never interpreted that. No, this movie's about not doing heroic acts for the glory, but doing them to protect people. That the whole point of being a hero is to protect and defend, not to make big glory moves and be a glory hound and like
which Poe is doing, even though he's got a good heart, but he's got a good heart, and
he does want to protect people. Even Finn at the end of the movie was trying to protect people at the same time. Yeah. But there's also this like movement, like I don't know. It's just I feel like
it's okay, man.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I'm really frustrated.
It's okay.
Talking to people
yeah. Well, it's truly bizarre. Like I think it's very telling that a lot of people are already kind of coming around to understanding why their complaints were bullshit.
People who see the movie twice and go like, "Oh yeah, I didn't see that." I'm like,
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I know that I'm a freaky guy that looks for these kind of details, but I didn't have to look very hard. It was all right there.
I love the attention to detail in this movie.
Oh my God, this movie has such attention to detail. I love
the fact that like Luke at the end of the movie, like they give you these two really obvious hints that he is a projection and not really there by the fact that he doesn't leave footprints.
Yeah, you had to point that out to me. I didn't see that.
He doesn't leave footprints, and he's using the lightsaber that was broken earlier.
Yeah.
And I've heard some people complain, like, oh, if he's using the lightsaber that was broken earlier, how did Kylo Ren not recognize that? Well, probably because he's emotionally compromised in the moment.
Yeah, why would he just didn't think of it.
He's fucking freaking out. He's angry that his master's there, and he just wants him destroyed. He's more concerned
He's not worried about the color of no fucking lightsaber.
He is being impulsive, the very thing that people were trying to train out of Poe.
Yeah, in fact, when you really fucking get down to it, Kylo Ren is all of the failures of all the other main characters combined into a single character.
Yeah, he kind of is.
You know, it just
he kind of is.
Yeah, he can't instruct Rey.
No.
He can't get Rey to join him.
No.
He can't fucking not be impulsive.
Yeah.
And he trusts the wrong people left and right.
And he doesn't protect.
And he doesn't protect anything.
No.
Yeah.
No.
He's just he wants pure destruction.
Yeah.
You know, just wants to be the best so bad he is in fact weak as shit. As strong with the Force as he is, his character is completely weak. And I don't mean that as a criticism against the writing of the character. That's the character.
Yeah.
He is a person of weak character.
So I don't know if we've put up like enough of a defense of the movie that people are going to accept, but I just felt the need, and he felt the need to talk about this movie a little bit.
Yeah, because the movie, the moment...
I was tearing my hair out reading everyone's complaints and just going, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, God, because, the minute... I was really liking the movie, but the moment I loved the movie was when Yoda showed up.
Oh God, that scene's
That was the moment I loved the movie.
And I love the whole like burn down the past.
Yeah. We're fucking Yoda agreed. Yoda agreed with Kylo Ren. You have to let go of the past, but
if the traditions of the past are holding back your progress in the future, then the traditions have to go.
Yeah. Yoda's whole lesson.
Yeah.
You know, his final lesson to Luke Skywalker. Yoda destroys the Last Jedi Temple, laughs about it. And Luke's like, the books! You know, and Yoda's like, read them, have you? And, you know, oh my God, I fucking love that moment. Like, Luke Skywalker's like, well, you know.
a great commentary on any religious text, because anyone who knows, I know plenty of devout Christians who have never actually read the Bible in its full.
You know, so I love that. Well, you know, Yoda's just like, real page turners. They were not.
I love it. I love it.
That was the moment where I was like, I love this movie. This movie's now awesome. Oh man. So yeah, we just had to, I definitely felt the need to like mount a defense of The Last Jedi, even though I know there are tons of people who already agree with me who fucking love this movie.
And the other thing is that no defense is actually going to matter. Because, like, if you really wanted it to be a different way and the movie wasn't that way and you feel like you're entitled to that other way, you're never going to come around.
Yeah, you're never going to come around, but fuck that. But, like, even, like, some of the more reasonable people who hated it are starting to come around already.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I'm pretty optimistic as to what the legacy, this will mean for the legacy of Star Wars.
And oddly enough, this movie is super optimistic.
It is super optimistic by the end
despite the fact that everyone fails over the course of it.
Despite the fact that motherfuckers die. Yeah. Like, it's still like, nah, it's okay. Oh my God, that bit that bit at the fucking end where Luke Skywalker appears to General Leia.
I cried in the theater.
Oh my fucking God.
I cried. I started to tear up when R2-D2 and Luke reunited, and then when...
Oh my God, Luke is all that. You can't make me come back. There's no way you can get me to come back, R2.
Help me,
it's
Obi-Wan
not
Kenobi.
happening. Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. That's a cheap shot, old friend.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that even though this was it was not the Luke Skywalker of the original trilogy.
No.
This felt like the natural progression of the character.
As far as I'm concerned, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, oh my God, I get it. He has become... Because you could see, God damn it, when Mark Hamill is first talking to Rey... Oh, sorry. When Luke is first talking to Rey, you're looking at I'm looking at Mark Hamill and I'm going, you're pulling in Alec Guinness. You're pulling in Alec Guinness's performance when you're saying this bit, because that is what fucking Obi-Wan taught Luke. I'm like, oh my God, that's brilliant. That's so good. So fucking brilliant. And fucking around with Rey like Yoda with the fucking palm leaf and shit. That's just the other thing. Like, that.
Oh, it's so weird that he would throw himself into exile after failing or whatever.
What are you talking about? Every other Jedi Master did that.
Obi-Wan, Yoda,
Yeah, they all fucking did it. You know, like,
and I keep seeing people calling this a mess, a canonical mess, and I'm sitting there going, like, continuity-wise, I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
No, everything.
If you feel like they've added new things, yes, that's good. Star Wars needed new things.
It really did, really super fucking desperately.
You know,
it didn't just need yeah, for the first time. Since Jedi, there's something new. The original Jedi, there's something new happening.
Force Awakens.
Oh shit! I just realized we can't refer to Return of the Jedi as Jedi anymore.
I know. The Force Awakens was a movie I loved, but I had a lot of little complaints with it, mainly because, like, number one, I felt like it left way too many questions for the next movies to answer, which left it feeling painfully incomplete. As a movie, whereas this movie does not feel incomplete. It feels very complete. Which makes me really excited.
The ironic thing is that The Force Awakens kind of needs this movie more than The Last Jedi.
And the other thing is that it stayed way too close and safe with A New Hope.
Yes.
To the point where the things it did do differently felt weird because it was staying so close. What I like about this movie is because right off the bat, it is taking some cues from Empire Strikes Back, but it is still doing its own thing. Yeah, that meant every change it made.
Yeah.
Not change, but to change in direction it made, or at least twist it made. It felt good. It felt nice because I'm like, this is the first time I'm sitting there watching a Star Wars movie and I have no idea what's going to happen next.
Yeah. I'm on the edge of my fucking seat going, I don't know who's going to live.
Yeah. First time since the original trilogy. So I'm like, damn.
Yeah. The fact that they could fucking do that is nothing short of amazing.
I know.
It's so fucking amazing. Like, I really, really loved Last Jedi.
I did.
Yeah, I just, it was so weird to me.
And I hope this backlash does not scare, because the movie's doing very well, so it's probably not going to, but I hope the backlash online does not scare any of the people creatively involved in the next movie to not take risks.
No.
Because taking risks paid off hardcore.
Oh, shit, yeah, it did.
Like, and I'm excited for Star Wars.
No, I want the last one to once again be like, oh shit, we've never seen this. Mm-hmm. Like, let's really, really solidify the identity of this
already you can't do the same movie as Return of the Jedi. Already. Because there's no Emperor now. There's just the Darth Vader character in Kylo. So now
Kylo's
already it has to be different.
He's just the Emperor.
Already it has to be very different. So I'm like, oh man, let's see where this goes.
Yeah, I'm fucking just please.
And Kylo is far more irredeemable.
Oh my God, no. He's just like, you're like, no, that... Well, Luke says it himself, like, you're gonna here to forgive me? No.
Yes.
It's just like, oh shit, like, oh fuck, we have to just take you down. Why are you not Darth Vader? Darth Vader was redeemable! Oh, snap!
One thing I will recommend, though, if you're a fan of Star Wars, do yourself a favor, because I think like this ruined the movie for a lot of people. Be excited Wait for the next movie and watch it when it comes out. Stop spending all your time online trying to figure out the puzzle, trying to predict what's going to happen next, trying to write a movie in your own head before you go see the movie. Because if you do that, nothing the movie's going to do is going to satisfy you because it's not the movie in your head.
Yeah. Go in, realizing.
That's what I did because after reading like J.J. Abrams talking about that when they made The Force Awakens, they had like 3 possibilities of whose Rey's parents would be, for example, but they didn't have an answer for it yet, so they decided to leave that unanswered and answer it in the next movie. That told me that it didn't matter what I could figure out or whatever. There's 3 possibilities. And it's just going to depend upon what multiple choice one they go with.
Do you think that that's really what it was? That everyone just fucking did the Lost thing again?
That's exactly what they did.
Oh, Jesus.
They sat down and they tried to figure out this movie, and they spent 3 years trying to figure out every little mystery from the movie and came up with all these outlandish things. And so for everything from
I'm glad I tuned out.
She's a reincarnation of Anakin to this, to that.
Yeah, the reincarnation of Anakin theory. I was like, that's one I saw, and I was like, are you fucking retarded?
I even saw a fucking theory that fucking
They used that fucking like Star Wars ring theory. What the fuck are you talking about?
There was even a fucking I even saw no joke. I saw people arguing that fucking Snoke was Mace Windu.
All right. That's it. Stop, people.
People spent all this time trying to come up with all these answers and came up with their own movies in their head so that when the movie finally came out, nothing was going to satisfy.
Mace Windu, for real.
And here's the thing. I partially blame J.J. Abrams' mystery box for that, but I blame you have control of your own being. You can decide not to overload yourself.
Yeah, you have control over you have some control over your brain.
You know how I know? Because I did that. I did not sit there and try to figure out every fucking box. I decided to wait into the next movie and watch it as a plot point, not a fucking mystery. And so
yeah. I figured like if Rey's parents are important, which that plot point is probably going to be important. Well, especially just not in the way that everyone expected.
Yeah. And I've heard some people say like, oh, well, see, the problem is they're writing each movie as they go along. I hate to break it to you guys.
That's how the original Star Wars was done.
Lucas talks a lot about like, oh, I had all these plans or whatever, but I'm pretty sure if Lucas knew where the Star Wars was going to go 100%, he never would have had Leia and Luke act like love interests in the first movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
That to me is the ultimate example that like, no, he wrote those as he went along and changed some things as he went along.
Oh yeah, totally.
You know, watching the prequels and the stuff that's inconsistent in the original trilogy from the prequels just shows you that. Like,
oh yeah, totally.
You know, you might have had a vague idea of where you wanted to take things, and I think every writer does when they start a story. They have a vague idea, but you didn't know every single detail. Like,
correct. Well, like we didn't. They weren't even positive that Darth Vader was Luke's father when they made the first one.
Yeah.
That came later.
And here's the other thing a lot of people forget, and this is one of my complaints about Force Awakens. When you watch A New Hope, there is no question that Darth Vader is this evil guy that killed Anakin.
Yeah.
But there's no question. There's no mystery at the end of the thing to solve. Because the movie's contained and complete. And then when you get to the next movie and it turns out he is his father. He is Anakin. That is a twist.
Yeah.
It is a plot point. It is not the culmination of a long mystery. And I feel like that is where Force Awakens failed everyone. Because it made it all mysteries, no one was going to be satisfied with the answer.
Probably.
Or at least some people were going to be satisfied with the answer, but a huge chunk were not going to be because they had their own answers.
And I'm really mad at treating any of these goddamn things like a mystery because a mystery has rules. The mystery box doesn't. The mystery box is just there to get you to tune in next time. That's the whole point. It's cliffhangers.
Yeah.
You know, it's cliffhangers, but not necessarily all at the end of the movie.
It's a side effect of treating movies like TV, which Marvel does really well, but Marvel
does it very well.
Everyone else is going through growing pains trying to do that. And
I kind of want them. I don't think that that's good for Star Wars.
I especially don't think it's good for Star Wars because that's how we led to this.
Yep.
We got a movie, which to me is the best Star Wars movie we've seen since Empire, and half the fans are pissed.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that unlike any other time anyone said like oh my god, best one since Empire, I'm like, no.
Imagine if there was no Force Awakens and this was the first movie.
Oh my god.
Like you'd have to do a little bit of introduction to Rey, but imagine.
Yeah.
Imagine if this was that. Like, would we have any of these complaints right now?
Probably not.
You know, and here's the weird part about it is that this movie is not off continuity from Force Awakens.
No, not at all.
It's just, it answered the questions from Force Awakens in a way that some people weren't satisfied with because they had more crazy explanations in their heads, you know?
Yeah. I really like the fact that Rey's parents are nobodies.
I like it because it's a great dichotomy.
Yeah.
And now we're just repeating ourselves.
Yeah, we are just repeating ourselves. We're going in a circle, a cycle.
Yes.
The cycle begins anew. So we should probably cut it off right here. Well, thanks for listening to us fucking complain about the complaining.
Because we're fucking whiners.
God damn it. Yeah, not a real Supermanly look to be whining about this shit, but god damn it, I was pissed.
Yeah.
I was super fucking pissed. So, hey, like, comment, subscribe below. I am also on Twitch. I stream every Thursday at 6 and every Sunday at 9, except maybe this week because it's Christmas Eve. But definitely follow me on Twitter at @count_Jackula if you want to be up to date on everything, because I do also randomly stream during the week. And if you're just like, hey, I think I just want to chill out and watch a dude play World of Warcraft or some weird horror game that I hadn't heard about, you could do that, and you just go to Twitch, look for Count Jackula, and once you see Satan, I'm there. That's me.
That's him.
And until then, dude, we'll check you the next time. And I fucking really liked The Last Jedi.
Me too.
Fuck the haters, man.